I have a lot of thanks to all the medical staff here. I'm not in medicine, I was an academic, and before that I was a filmmaker. And so for me, this is so thrilling. It's so exciting and interesting to be in a room with all these people who are so smart and know so much about medicine. So I'm really grateful for that. It's really exciting. I've taught at USC, I've taught at UCLA. This is my doctor, by the way, Dr. Morris. I don't have a lot of faith in him. The only thing he ever prescribes is a CAT scan. So I especially love two things, comedy and technology. So there's me also attempting, poorly, stand-up comedy, and this is me testing my shrink ray. So got the tech thing covered there. I also loved a few other things in my life. One is my dad, Joe Chindamo. The other is my stepfather, Bill Harrison, and then my youngest brother. And all of them died in hospitals. So hospitals are especially tragic for me. And speaking of tragedy, that's how TV works. All television, indeed all entertainment, rely on the age-old formats of comedy and tragedy, or as it's called in modern times, drama. The principal techniques are dramatic tension or comic relief. So do you want tension or do you want relief for your patients? Here's what they're playing on hospital TVs right now. I asked the docs at the hospitals my family died in if I could do anything to lighten the mood. I'd heard that laughter is the best medicine, and I was making comedy films, but that's not what they were playing. I mean, here's what they were playing on the hospital TVs. These are all clips from network TV and cable TV shows, and I'm going to give you a trigger warning here. When this gets too gross, just one person raise your hand, and I will stop it when one person raises their hand. But this is what was playing on hospital TVs.
If you've ever stayed in a hospital or even visited someone in a hospital, you know that most patients spend most of their awake time watching TV. The problem is that television has gotten so sexual, violent, basically anxiety-provoking, exactly the opposite of what we want for our patients to heal. This is what they're watching.
You're all a bunch of ass-ramming uncle fuckers.
Solution. You're gonna have to shoot them in the head. But warning, they may shoot you.
On the bad days, 1 time a day if I could, to 4, 5, 6 times a day.
Come on, back.
Just raise your hand when you've had enough. Done. Great. I hate it too. But that's what they were playing on hospital TVs, right? So we gave them this. Kaiser Permanente was the first hospital to actually air a comedy channel on their TVs. And yes, very appropriately, they advertised it in the bathrooms. That's why it's called stall humor. So talk about bathroom humor. There you have it. So the question is, which do you prefer, drama or comedy?
What are you doing?
2/3 of 12 can be This is 3/3. This is 1/3.
He's getting.
Okay.
Okay, that's drama. Very dramatic. This one's comedy.
What is it? What is it? What? What?
So this is drama and comedy all rolled into one. So you just watched a drama video with the heroine and the girl fights, and you watched a comedy video, and which one made you feel better? The laughing babies, right? Well, we thought so, and you're in good company. So there's a ton of evidence that proves this. Loma Linda University, University of Southern Florida, College of Family Physicians of Canada, National Institute of Health. I'm going to show you my favorite one, which is this one. This was done by Lee Burke over at Loma Linda University, and here's what they did. They took 48 patients who had had heart attacks, right? Of those 48 patients, they had a control group who did not watch half an hour of comedy a day, and they had the test group who watched half an hour of comedy a day. At the end of 60 days, of the patients who watched half an hour of comedy a day, 2 of them out of the 24 had a second heart attack. Of the patients who did not watch comedy, 10 of them had a second heart attack. That's how powerful the difference was with just that one variable. So that's one of my favorite ones. And there are 500 studies that show that laughter is actually good medicine. In fact, we've done 4 of them with LaughMD. And in this one, because I was a professor at USC and now work with them on the idea of using this laughter app, the question was, does viewing comedy videos improve the patient experience? So the patients were asked questions like, did you enjoy the videos? If you had pain, did the videos help to lower your pain? And things like that, right? Well, here's the study results. You can see everything is pretty close to 100% positive. And even this one, where when you take out the patients who didn't have pain, 91% of the patients with pain said it lowered their pain. Now raise your hand if you're surprised. See, nobody is surprised by that. So again, I ask the question, if laughter is the best medicine, why don't we use it as medicine? I mean, 91%, that's better than aspirin or Tylenol or even pot brownies, he said from experience. So these are the 4 studies that we did. You can read them for yourself. But for healthcare providers at the USC Institute for Genetic Medicine, 94% of the healthcare providers we tested reported a reduction in stress levels after 60 minutes of comedy. Okay, who's got an hour to do this with? Nobody, right? So Chapman University, in 3 minutes, we were able to lower 30 healthcare providers over 30 days, an average of 13% less stressed in just 3 minutes. Now everybody gets a 3-minute break, right? So one of those little baby videos or one of these little silly cat videos will do the trick if they are collated and curated and delivered to you properly. So this was Chapman University putting it on the front page of their website for a week. And these were at UCLA, the staff voted unanimously to use LaughMD. And some of the staff comments include, this is amazing. Thank you for putting this together. And we love the concept and the app. And this was only nurses voting. 18-0. This is a snapshot going way back to the very first American Healthcare Summit, just before they made this discovery. That would get a bigger laugh in caveman times. So if you're here at this session and you have continued to listen, you know that only early adopters are going to do this. Only real innovators are going to actually try this, right? So I thank you for being early adopters, and here's some scientific facts. Did you know that early adopters are scientifically proven to be smarter, taller, and far better looking? That's you people. You can't argue with science. So why do this in hospitals, in dialysis centers, in cancer or drug and alcohol recovery facilities? Well, these are the benefits of humor for your patients. And I know you know this. I'm not going to read this to you because you know this innately. It's increasing your endorphins, your serotonin, your dopamine. It's lowering your stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. And so because of that, it's a natural fit for the healing environment. That horrible video I showed you is what they're actually showing on TVs, and yet they're not doing this. By the way, that's me before coffee in the morning. So, and yes, this is HIPAA compliant, and yes, this is enhancing benefits for the patients. But this is the benefit for you. So here's the staff at USC using this app, right? And so you're happier. We've talked a lot about staff burnout. We've talked a lot about nurses leaving. We've talked a lot about stress at the workplace. And what do you do to combat stress? You try to laugh. You can't be stressed and laughing at the same time. It's physically impossible, right? So it not only makes you feel better, it when you apply it to yourself and the patients, it makes it easier for them to comply with things. It makes it easier for them to understand directions. We collect data as well. It's not just funny videos. We're also collecting data from patients in a HIPAA-compliant manner, of course. And these are the benefits when you go back to your administrators. There's a lot of benefits that you can pitch to your administrators, especially my favorite one, which is LaughMD can pay for itself by collecting applicable, billable information for insurance companies. Make them pay, right? So here's how to do this at your facility. Well, rule number one, don't use Comedy Central on the TVs. Comedy Central is a comedy television network here in the States on cable TV. Most cable television and pretty much all network television, and I know because I work in television, we're now down to about 16 minutes of actual programming and 14 minutes of commercials, credits, and network promotions. So only about half of the time are you actually getting anything that might even be funny, and trust me, Comedy Central is not appropriate for a hospital setting. It's also not positive humor, it's mostly negative humor, insult humor, the kind of thing that doesn't produce those same biological reactions. So don't just do that. Here's why you don't want to just watch comedy on YouTube or TV, because YouTube, especially, the videos can be unvetted, and so you might find a funny video the first time you watch, but then the second video that you get recommended, maybe that's not as funny or not as interesting to you. The next video, I don't know what that is, and by the fourth video, you've joined Al-Qaeda. I don't know how that happens. So we're using positively based humor. Here's just one example of a channel that used to be very funny that was on YouTube, and it was this kind of hippy-dippy guy that talked about, what if meat eaters acted like vegans, right? And within a year, he became radicalized, and here's his video called Why We Need More Guns, and it's not a joke. So much of this is happening that you actually need human beings to curate this. You need real people who understand comedy, who are expert in the field, and real people who are good at the data collection part of it as well. So we're a simple, affordable app providing the healing benefits of humor for patients, staff, and a facility's bottom line with data collection for improving outcomes. Here's what's on LaughMD. Little comedy videos, all of it. I'm not going to bother to play the video. Just come up to me and see me, because guess what? I will give this to you for free. Yes, this is a business, and yes, we do want to make money with this, and yes, we intend to charge the insurance companies and or the facilities, but in the beginning, this is free. So there's literally no reason not to do it. These are the kind of videos that we have on there. Yes, that's a cat in a toilet. And we even have a version of it for recovery patients. So our specialties right now, like at USC or like at C-Care, where we're dealing with oncology patients, because you're a captive audience, you're tied to the chair, right? You're in an IV situation. Or bedridden patients in a hospital. Again, you're a captive audience there. You have to stay there. So oncology, dialysis is another one. Those are our best ones. But even in recovery, this is a product we have called LaughMD Recovery. Even in recovery, they take away your phone. You know this, they take away your tablet, right? And imagine if you could be given a different tablet that gives you funny videos, gives you activities that you can do that will improve your healing. So if I was an addict, it would be really hard to kick whatever substance I was on. It would be, for me, even harder to give up my phone. So imagine that, how we're double challenging these poor folks, but now we have a remedy for that. So there you have it. So let's benefit you, your staff, and your facility with LaughMD. I'm Professor Frank Chindamo. I'm ready for questions as they hand out the little pamphlets on this. Thanks very much.
Is this app ready to be downloaded on Android and iPhone for anyone, or you are making it just for the facilities or any institutions that are interested?
I can give it to anybody here. However, the idea is that it's not for the general public. It's only to be used in medical settings. It's very expensive to employ a staff of people who are collating and curating the videos and then doing the programming and all that sort of a thing. It's not cheap. So this isn't something that you're going to find in the App Store. You won't find this in the App Store. Don't bother looking. It's hidden in there. It's something called the Enterprise Store, and it's intended for use as medicine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I definitely, appreciate the work that you guys have done, and I understand that it's expensive, and everything is evolving, and it's fantastic. I really would like to commend you on this work.
Thank you.
My question is, you have seen it working in this environment. Do you have any thoughts on reaching out internationally?
Oh yes, absolutely. We'd love to. That would be great. Yes.
Have you done any?
Not yet.
Okay.
It's a little bit more complicated because a lot of the videos come from YouTube or Vimeo or Vine, as you see here. So it's a little bit more complicated to do that, but it's definitely on the roadway. In fact, speaking of the roadway for this, the roadmap for this, right now a patient holds an iPad and they select the videos that they want, and they also hold the iPad and they answer the questions. So that's self-reporting, right? Soon, with a little bit of funding, we're going to be able to integrate with wearable devices. So you'll actually be able to tell from the device what the patient's heart rate was when they started watching, what the patient's heart rate was when they stopped, and other vitals. We're also in talks with a company called Bina in Israel, and they have an even more sophisticated thing where if you are looking at an iPad, well, there's a camera that's looking at you. It's the thing you do selfies with, right? Well, they can actually determine a lot of your, what's that?
Micro-expressions.
Micro-expressions, exactly. So they can tell more than that. They can tell blood oxygenation level, heart rate, things like that with just the camera on your device. But it takes over a minute to gather that data. So how do you get somebody to look at a device for over a minute? Show them a video, right? And then we're also working to try and put this not just on these devices, but actually into a virtual reality environment. And I work in VR quite a bit. And so just imagine, it's nice to have it on your handheld device, but when you're in a virtual environment, you can actually be in a comedy club, or you can be at a zoo with funny animals, or you can be at a party, for example. Then that's going to be something where I've actually heard of one situation at USC where they're using that instead of anesthesia for children.
Yeah, I can see it going far. I really wish you the very best.
Thank you very much. I'll give you my mom's phone number. One more question.
Thank you so much for your information. This is great. I think this will also be perfect for maybe for a therapy session.
Yeah.
People who are reaching out, to talk to someone, maybe if you have someone like you or.
We're actually talking. Yeah, we're in talks with a company called Headspace that as a meditation app on your phone, but they've come up with this brilliant idea that maybe laughter should be used as medicine, and they found me. So we're talking with them. I hope that goes through.
I don't have a question, but I'd just like to have a comment.
Just to say that you are absolutely on target with what you're doing, and just to say that there was one doctor who had a client who had a medical issue, and when he came in, what he recommended him do is to go home and every evening watch something that was funny. And when he came back to his doctor, his symptoms were gone.
Wow. Well, God bless it. There's about 500 studies that are out there, and they're from everywhere. Iran, from Korea, from the UK, Canada, South Africa, plenty of them in the US, of course, Canada. There are studies done all around the world. It's a universal principle. Not everyone agrees that the earth rotates around the sun, but everyone agrees that laughter is the best medicine.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. My question is, does laughter therapy differ according to the patient condition? Is it standard for all type of patients?
So this is not laughter therapy. Laughter therapy, as we know it, is laughter yoga, where you're trying to make yourself laugh. I know that's very popular in India. We have a laughter yoga instructor on the app himself. His name is Renga, and his series is called Ranga Laugh. So we actually do provide that. But the studies of genuine laughter versus artificially induced laughter, like laughter yoga, it's a night and day difference, I'm sorry to say. Making yourself laugh is nice, but it doesn't do what genuinely inspired laughter does. There's things about how it triggers neural impulses, how it goes down the neural pathways in a different way, and all that. So, sorry, we can't put comedians out of work just yet.